Hello everyone, I welcome you all for this video session on economic operation of the power system. So let us see the basic concepts of economic operation of the power system. Generally, the power generation of our main aim is to generate a required amount of power with a minimum cost. So economic operation means we are concentrating on the cost factor. We have to reduce the cost value with a minimum value. So the economic load dispatch means that the generator real and reactive power are allowed to vary within a certain limit so as to meet a particular load with a minimum cost. So cost is the main important factor when we are designing economic operation. So the cost will be reduced at the generator station when the fuel cost is minimum. One of the major factor at the generating station is fuel cost. So when you are comparing the different types of generating station, so in thermal and in nuclear, the fuel is the costly device, costly element. So the fuel cost we have to reduce. Whereas in that hydro, there is no fuel cost because the water is free of cost. The running cost is the ultimate thing we have to reduce. Now, the allocation of the loads based on some constraints. So, obviously, another thing to reduce the cost is the allocation of load. For a particular load, if you have the n number of generating station, so how much load we are keeping on each generator, which decides the economic thing. So that's why the allocation of the loads based on some constraints. So we have to follow some constraint to fulfill the demanded load. Now we'll see the different constraints on economic load dispatch. So there are two types of constraint. One is the inequality constraint, equality constraint. So we'll see the first inequality constraints. In the inequality constraint, the first constraint is the voltage constraint. So in the voltage constraint, so there is a voltage value tolerance limit, the voltage minimum and the voltage maximum. So the operating voltage should be in between the minimum voltage to maximum voltage. Similarly, the load angle having some constraint of minimum and maximum. So your load angle of the operating system of the generating system, it should be in between delta minimum and delta maximum. And another constraint at the generator, which is the KVA loading of the generator, should not exceed the prescribed value, the P minimum value and P maximum value. Similarly, the reactive power having some limit, a Q minimum value and Q maximum value. Now, when we are selecting a total capacity of the generating station, obviously it should be somewhat greater than demand or load unexpected, because of when the system is on of sudden having an unexpected load, the system has to be ready to face that load. That's why we need some running spare capacity to maintain or to face that condition. So thus constraints are needed to meet the forced outage of one or more alternators in this system and also unexpected load on the system. Now another constraint which will be coming from the transmission line. So transmission line also, the power flow of the transmission line, it should be less than its thermal capacity. Now another factor of your constraint is the transformer tap setting. So your auto transformer tap setting T should be in between 0 to 1, and 2 winding transformer, it is also in between 0 to K, is the transmission ratio. The equality constraints coming to your real power and reactive power, your power generation VP value, it's a generation value, and the reactive power generation value is one. Now the operating cost of thermal plant, particularly in thermal plant, the fuel cost is the most important. The factor influencing the power generation at a minimum cost is at operating efficiencies are the generators of fuel cost and transmission lines. So two way we can reduce the fuel cost so that the economic operation will be optimized. Another thing is we can reduce the losses so that also we can improve the efficiency and economic operation can be conducted more effectively. The most efficient generator in the system does not guarantee the minimum cost. So because if the load and generating station it is a far away, though it is an efficient generator, so when the distance is a matter, obviously it is an uneconomic operation. And another factor is the fuel cost. If the fuel cost is high, and even though the generating station is a more efficient, there is no use at all. So there is no economic operation takes place. So the most efficient generator in the system does not guarantee the minimum cost, as it may be located in the area where the fuel cost is high. So always we should have to be consider the fuel cost should be low. So where that place is the most economic operation. So if the plant is located far from the load center and the transmission losses are high, so in that case also your economic operation will be disturbed. So the input and thermal plant generally measured in British thermal units per hour as well as, and output is measured in megawatts. So in all practical cases, the fuel cost of the generator can be represented as a quadratic function. It is a simple quadratic operation. It's not a linear function. It is a quadratic function of the real power. So you can, when you draw the graph between fuel input versus megawatt, fuel input versus megawatt, fuel input can be measured in British thermal unit per hour, and cost, this one will be cost versus megawatt. The cost is a rupees or dollar per hour or megawatt. So both the functions we will call, this is the heat rate curve and this is the fuel cost curve. Heat rate curve is nothing but input between fuel input versus power, output power generated, and it's the cost versus output power generated. So when you see, this is a polynomial curve which is not a linear, having a polynomial function of alpha I plus beta I pi power generation plus gamma I pi square, because it is a polynomial function, it is a quadratic function, polynomial. So Ci value, the cost function Ci, cost function, this equation relevant to the fuel cost curve. The cost function Ci is equals to alpha I plus beta I pi plus gamma I pi square. By plotting the derivative of the fuel cost curve, the derivative of that means the dCi by dpi, the real power, will get an incremental fuel cost curve. So dCi by dpi. So if you are taking a differentiation of that, we can get a 2 gamma I pi plus beta I. So this is the linear equation. So it starts with beta I and the slope of this one is a linear function. The incremental fuel cost is a measure of how costly it will be produced the next increment of the power. So it represents the how much cost for the next increment of the power. Now economic dispatch by neglecting the losses. So suppose assume we have number of generators and one transmission line and there is a demand. So for a particular demand, how we can load each generator for a particular demand is nothing but a economic dispatch. So by reducing the cost minimum, the function is with the minimum cost how you are effectively placing the load on each generator for a particular equivalent of load with the minimum cost is nothing but your economic dispatch problem. It is the simplest economic dispatch problem. Assume that the system is only one bus which all having a number of generators load connected to it. A cost function Ci is assumed to be known each plant. Then the problem of economic dispatch problem, the problem is that to find the real power generation for each plant, I have a number of plants, I have to find out how much the real power I have to generate for the minimum cost to produce the power. The objective function can be defined as the total production cost, the total cost function I have to write. So sigma I is equals to 1 to number of generators and Ci. So where I is the Ci is the number of generators. So this can be written as your Ci cost function is sigma 1 to n alpha I plus beta I pi plus gamma I pi square. Here this is the cost function of all generators. So for this cost function I have to maintain a constraint is minimum. This value should be minimum. Subjected to constraint. What is the constraint? The all power generations, all units power generation, it should be equal to demand. What it should be maintained. If this constraint is not demand, no useful, right? So whatever the demand is required, that much of the power it should be placed on the all generators, right? So this is the cost function with the constraint of equality constraints of sigma I is equals to n pi and the PD is the load power. Now if you solve this problem, this is the problematic statement of economic load dispatch problem. This is the cost function. We have to maintain the minimum value of this with the constraint of this. So how we can solve this function is a Lagrange multiply method. So a typical approach to augmented constraint objective function by using Lagrange multiplies method. So what is the Lagrange multiplier method? So Lagrange function L is equals to your C of t, it's a cost main function, plus lambda is the Lagrange coefficient into your constraint, whatever the constraint we have taken, it is a pi minus pd, it is a pd minus sigma I is equals to 1. It is a matter, it's you can take it both minus or positive, both are same. So Lagrange coefficient L is equals to Ct plus gamma Pd minus Ing Pi. So the minimum of this unconstrained function, this is only the function, there is no constraint. Previously we have the function with the constraint. So now we have converted this constrained function to unconstrained function by using the Lagrange multiplier method. So with this unconstrained function, to get a minimum value, the minimum of this unconstrained function is found at the point where the particulars of the function is to be variables. Its variables are equal to 0. So dou L by dou Pi is equals to 0. So one of the variable is Pi. So another of the variable is lambda. So when you equate it to 0, you will get a minimum function and maximum function. So obviously you can get it. The first condition is given by dou L by dou Pi is equals to 0, results in, so it is a dou Ct. So dou Ct by dou Pi plus lambda 0 minus 1. Its value is a 0 and its value is a 1. Now since cost function Ct is equals to cost function of the first generator, cost function of the second generator and cost function of the nth generator. Now then your dCt by dou Pi is equals to dou Ci by dou Pi. That means this value may be equal to dou C1 by dou P1, cost function with respect to first generation, dou C2 by dou P2, dou C3 by dou P3, similarly dou Ci by dou Pi. So in all the generators, the lambda value is constant. The incremental cost, which is the same in all the functions, all the generators. So that is a coordinating equation. This equation we will call this the coordinating equation. And therefore, the condition of the optimum dispatch dou Ci by dou Pi is equals to lambda we have to maintain. So where I is equals to 1 to n generators. Now lambda is equals to dou Ci by dou Pi. So differentiating the cost function with respect to Pi, we will get beta I plus 2 gamma I Pi is equals to lambda. When the losses are neglected with no generation limits, for most economic operation, all the plant must be operated in equal incremental production costs. So all the plants, all the generators must maintain the incremental cost is same. The slope of that is same. So production from each plant can be, when the losses are neglected with no generator limits for the most economic operation, all the plants must be operated at equal incremental production cost. That means your dou Ct by dou Pi is equals to dou Ci by dou Pi. So all the generators, this incremental cost is equal, their value is equals to lambda. So production from each plant can be found by Pi is equals to, your value of Pi can be found from this equation. Pi is equals to lambda minus beta I by 2 gamma I. This equation is also known as coordination function. For analytic solution, we can write the lambda by sigma I is equals to n, lambda bi 2 gamma I is equals to Pi. So Pd. So your Pi value will be substituted here, and we can write the lambda is equals to finally Pd plus sigma I is equals to 1 to n, beta I by 2 gamma I, and sigma I is equals to n, I to sigma I to n, 1 by 2 gamma I. So this is the function we have calculated to get a minimum value of your cost function. So now, in an iterative technique, how we can find out the lambda value? In an iterative technique, starting with the alpha value with the initial guess and continue until your delta Pi value within the tolerance limit. So corresponding to this lambda, your value of Pik, first iteration. So initial value of lambda, we will calculate this one. If that value is within the tolerable limit, then we'll finalize that function. So is calculated power mismatch is calculated. If the power mismatch is within the tolerable limit, so we can update the value, same value of the lambda which is finalized. So delta lambda k function is equals to delta pk sigma 1 by 2 gamma I. Now the updated value of the gamma function is equals to, not lambda function, not gamma. The updated value of lambda k plus 1 is equals to lambda k plus delta lambda k. Now let us see one example how we can solve this function. This is the one of the problem they can give. The fuel cost function of the thermal plants, it is in the dollars, are given per hour, given by C1, C2, C3. There are 3 generators. The cost function of the first generator is 500 plus 5.3 P1 plus 0.004 P1 square, and C2 is equals to 400 plus 5.5 P2 and 0.006 P2 square. Similarly, C3 is equals to 200 plus 5.8 P3 plus 0.009 P3 square, where P1, P2, P3 are in megawatts, the total 3 generators. The total load PD is equals to 800 megawatt. Neglecting the line losses and generator unit, find the optimal dispatch, the total cost and the total cost in dollars per hour. So this can be solved in 3 methods. Either first one is the analytical method, graphical method and iterative technique using the gradient method. So first we will see the analytical method. So lambda should be found. Your formula, we have the lambda is equals to PD demand, sigma I is equals to 1 to n, beta I by 2 gamma I, sigma I is equals to n 1 to gamma I. So if you substitute this value, PD is equals to 800, total demand is 800, and first generator it is a 5.3, your beta I 5.3 divide with 2 into gamma I is 0.04 into 2 into 0.04, 0.08. Similarly, 2 into it's your beta 2, that is a 5.5, 2 into 0.006 is a 0.012. Similarly, 5.8 by 0.018. So similarly 1 by 2 gamma I, this value is equals to 8.5 directly, we can get it. So now substitute the lambda value in the coordination equation. We will get, so P is equals to lambda 8.5 minus first generator 5.3, this value you can substitute. Now 8.5 minus 5.3 divided with 2 gamma I 0.04, that will give us 400 megawatt. P2 is equals to 8.5 minus 5.5 divided with 2 into 0.006, it's a 250 megawatt. P3 is equals to 8.5 minus 5.8 to 0.08, it's a 150 megawatt. Now you can get the total demand 800 megawatt is split into 3 parts of 3 generators. P1 is loaded with 400 megawatt, P2 is loaded with 250 megawatt and P3 is loaded with 150 megawatt. Then economic dispatch problem will be solved very effectively. So that is your first method, analytical method. Second one, we will see the graphical method of demonstration. So in the graphical method, we'll find out the lambda value 8.5 first step. The necessary condition for optimal dispatch is DC1 by dP1. The first incremental cost, rate of incremental cost is equals to 5.3 plus 0.08 P1 is equals to lambda. Similarly, DC2 by dP2 is also equal to lambda, it's a 5.5, 0.012 P2. Similarly, DC3 by dP3 is also equal to 5.8, so that value. Now, for all this, we will draw the graphs for first, second and third, P1, P2, P3, and we'll make it the lambda value 8.5. At 8.5, we'll draw the straight line, and particular point of a graph, whatever the megawatt, this is the 1 megawatt of the one generator, and megawatt of the second generator, and megawatt of the third generator. 400, maybe 250 and 150. You can see 400, 250 and 150 you can get from the graphical method. Third one is for a iterative method. For a numerical solution using the gradient method, iterative method, it's also called as a gradient method. Assume the initial value lambda first guess value is equal to, how you can select these 6. Normally this value will be selected, it should be greater than all 3 values of beta. So P1 beta value is 5.3, P2 beta value is 5.5 and P3 is a 5.8. So it should be greater than all these 3 values, you can select any one. So we have selected the first value is a 6 for coordinates. So for this 6 we will calculate the P1 value 6 minus 5.3, 2 into 0.87. P2 value 6 minus 5.5, 41. P3 is a 6 minus 5.8, 2 into 0.09, it is 11.11. Now if you add all this value, it should be equal to demand. So your demand is 800 megawatt, and if you add this one, that the error value will get 659 megawatt. So the guess value what you are, it is a 6 is not exactly the same. So we will find out the lambda change in lambda first guess. So it is a 659 divided with 1 by 2 into this value gamma 1, 1 by 2 gamma 2, like this. So we will get a correction value of lambda will get a 2.1. Now we will update your value, therefore the new value of lambda will update 6 plus 2.5, 8.5. Now continuing this process for the second iteration, we have P1 2 is equals to 8.5 minus 5.3, it is a 400. P22 is equals to 8.5, 5.5, 250. P32 is equals to, it's a 8.5 minus 5.8, 150. Now 800 minus this value is a 0. So that means whatever the value of the lambda, which is exactly the similar same. So we can get a P1 value 400 megawatt. The second generator loading is a 250 megawatt and P3 is 150 megawatt. So the fuel cost function is equals to, you can substitute your values of P1, P2, P3. The total cost function is equal to 100 plus you can substitute your 400 and 250 and 150. So it's equals to $6,682.5 per hour. This is the cost function of economic cost function of a given problem. Like this, we can solve the economic load dispatch problem in all generators. So thank you very much. So